Most of the challenges that we face in life is a byproduct of, okay, let me put it this way. Most of the mental challenges that we face in life is a direct byproduct of us lying to ourselves. What do I mean by lying to yourself? You make yourself believe that something is a certain way just because you want it to be that way, but you haven't really experienced it that way. So if you can convince yourself that life is that way, then you will feel better to do what you want to do, which is contrary to what you know is going to happen or to what you know didn't happen. Stop lying to yourself. You know, if you lie to everyone else, don't lie to yourself. The more you lie to yourself, the more you create an alternate reality which is not consistent with what you're living. And then you begin to find difficulties when you try to get stuff done. You begin to wonder why you keep trying, but you keep failing. It seems like you're just out of touch with reality. You thought something needed to be a certain way. But guess what? Thoughts that are born because of lies that you've told yourself so long that you don't even remember that they're lies anymore, those thoughts can't help you. You won't be able to solve any problems in your life. You know, you will be stuck, always blaming other people for your problems. And whenever you do blame yourself, you go straight into depression because you won't understand. It will always feel like it's your fault. But dear friends, this is reality. There are things in your life that you can control. And there are also aspects that you cannot control. Understanding the difference between both will help you. There are some situations where you convince yourself that you can control it because you want the outcome to be a certain way. And then you come to find out that no matter what you tell someone, you can't really change people's mind unless those people want to change their minds. You know, so mentally somewhere in your mind, you need to be prepared for disappointment. Whatever you do, if you convince yourself that you can lift 500 pounds, can you really lift 500 pounds until you've actually done it? Exactly. You can tell yourself whatever you want, but if your actions don't prove it to you, don't believe it to be so. I mean, it applies to religion, it applies to your social life, it applies to your spiritual life, and it also applies to your mental health. Stop lying to yourself. Life is what it is. Sometimes you're going to like it, sometimes you're not going to like it. People are going to be hateful. People are going to be untrustworthy. People are going to be manipulative. People are going to gossip about you and still pretend to be your friends. Like, you should expect that from people, but you shouldn't let that determine how you treat them. Because if you treat them the way you think that they are, that's really what you are. You know, it all comes down to knowing yourself too. I will always emphasize this fact. Set out on a journey, on a spiritual journey to know yourself. Like, you're not your mom, you're not your father, you're not your brother, you're not your pastor, you're not your priest, you're not your imam, you're not your guru, you're not anyone else, you're only you. You're not going to be like anyone else, you're only going to be like you. You don't need to have other people's fears. Your fears are your fears. Your strengths are your strengths. Like, don't convince yourself that you can do something just because everybody else can do it. Test it out and see that you can actually do it. If you can't, then learn what you're weak at and try to strengthen it. You know, it's good to take advice, but advice is just advice. Advice is like food. It goes into your stomach and you still have to digest it to get the nutrients out of it. You know, when someone tells you something like what I'm saying right now, you need to digest what I'm saying and then get some nutrients out of it. If it's not nutritional, just regurgitate it like waste, like sweat, whatever, you know. But that's the nature of life. Don't ever lie to yourself. And if you've lied to yourself, take yourself to therapy and begin to undo all those lies, all those things that you've told yourself. Sometimes we tell ourselves that we're not able to, just because other people have told us that so many times. Other people will tell you, oh, you can't do this, you suck at this, you're not good enough, and then you just start to believe it. You believe it about things that you haven't even tried to do, things that you haven't even given it your all. Come to find out, you were really actually great at those things. But other people, you allow other people's words to make you lie to yourself. Now, there are other times when other people will boost and pump your ego and tell you that you can do things that you haven't really ever tried to do. You know, like you haven't put in the time to research, to learn, and to try to actually practice it. And then here comes life. All of a sudden, you have to do that thing, and then you fail. And there you go, straight into depression, wondering why you weren't able to do something that you believed that you were able to do. When you die, there is no one that loves you enough that will jump into the casket to go with you. When you go, no, they're going to cry, they're going to miss you, but eventually they're going to keep on living their lives. And the longer it's been, the happier they're going to be without you. Everyone that you know can live without you. You are the only one that cannot live without yourself. So get to know yourself. Be truthful to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. And don't believe the lies that other people tell you about yourself, whether they be positive or negative. Do that, my friend, and you will find yourself growing spiritually tremendously. You'll find yourself maturing spiritually. You will find yourself changing for the better of your destiny. Have a blessed one, y'all.